Thrill me.
I'm gonna name you Coda. You get a name too, Podo.
I got good news and bad news, girls. The good news is your dates are here.
What's the bad news?
They're dead.
You too? You got a boner too? Blue Steel.
Welcome, everybody, to another Q's and T's installment of the Unkind Rewind. This week, we're following up on some Phase 4 stuff before we get to our next episode with special guest Chelsea Cain.
Oh.
That one's going to be fun.
Yeah. Oh,
Not
boy.
to get too far ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
But,
it was definitely a lot of content. I mean,
yeah.
lot to talk about with that one.
Uh-huh. I am Josh Dugan. I am here in St. Paul, Minnesota, which I learned yesterday. One of its nicknames is the last city of the East, which I used in an intro that we recorded this morning, as this is the second time we've recorded today. First time was fun.
Yeah. We have to speak in such code now because of the
Yeah.
because of the way that we're doing this.
Yeah.
In that we're not telling listeners what movie we're doing until they actually hear what movie we're doing with the guest.
Right.
Do we still have any other ones left to go where the guest?
I mean, if people follow me on Letterboxd, they can know that I've watched a movie for Letterboxd, or if they
watched a movie for this podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I tag it with Unkind Rewind.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to be pretty vigilant and you have to care a lot, but
yeah,
we think it's
but
nice
it can give you a little heads up that, okay, you can try to plan for this at least. But we don't tell, I don't say who the guest was or anything like that. You're still, because we don't necessarily drop these in the order that we record them. We do deviate a little bit, just, based on certain things, people promoting stuff, whatnot. So, but it can give you a good sense of what might be coming down the pike. Obviously, as always, got Sean McGrath on the line.
Oh yeah, that's me. Yep, it's going good. Yep, just watching movies, talking movies, seeing, getting my Oscar ballot in order.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't feel too confident really about anything other than like best supporting actor and actress. But as we get closer, maybe we can have a little ballot talk.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, nothing. I don't know. There's not anything.
You've seen almost all of the nominees so long ago that it's not like because usually you'd be doing a little more catch up.
Yeah, I don't need to catch up on fucking jack shit.
Yeah,
like I've seen everything.
You saw every fucking movie in the world last.
I mean, I do have kind of this like soft list of 2024 releases that would be nice to see, but nothing is like big. There's another Honora screening tonight with Mikey Madison that nice. I'm gonna try to get down to, see that one more time before I kind of permanent pen my ballot.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything that I want to see from 2024 is either foreign or documentary.
Yeah.
And
did you watch Do Not Expect Too Much from the End of the World yet?
No. And that
I know you re-upped on Mubi.
Yeah, I do need to work through my Mubi. Shout out Mubi. And their like catalog of like 24 movies.
It's more than that, but it's
not by much.
It's so esoteric. Their collection is it's impossibly art house.
Yeah, but I mean, you could probably see everything that you want to see with Mubi in the 1 month trial subscription.
Yeah, maybe.
Especially if you're staying away from the other ones. If you're just focusing on that.
Yeah, if you only had movies, sure. But if you have other streaming services, it's a lot harder to work back around to it. Have you been doing anything up to anything?
What have I been up to? I'm taking Japanese again, which is fun. It's at the Japan Society in New York, which is unfortunately right by a Trump hotel. So I have to fucking go by that thing. I don't get A, why people would stay there, or B, why there isn't a bunch of people outside every single day. And it's not the only Trump property in New York by any means, but it's the one that I'm forced to kind of notice.
Reckon with its existence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Japan Society is great. Really great teachers.
You took a semester in college, right?
I took a semester in high school as post-secondary. I actually never took Japanese in college, but trying to rectify that wrong a little bit by going back and doing it now. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, like languages are just like going to the gym or learning something new. You just gotta do it. They're like, you could be an idiot, and if you do it every day, you're gonna get okay at it.
Are you learning kanji at all?
Kanji is the last rung on the written alphabet ladder. The first thing that we are learning, and every class I'm assuming is a little bit different, but the first thing that we were taught was the hiragana alphabet, which is all the symbols that represent Japanese words, and then next you would learn katakana, which is any type of borrowed word, or like, for example, if you were to say the word hamburger, right, you would use katakana because that's not a Japanese word. Sure. A lot of like zoo animals, for example, are always written in katakana because they don't have those in Japan. They don't have a fucking giraffe.
Sure. They don't have a kanji character for giraffe.
And then kanji comes later. Kanji is like the Chinese influenced alphabet. So a lot of people who speak Chinese can actually read Japanese kanji in a weird way. But it's the most intricate. It's the most like dependent on brush strokes, and sometimes there's like 8 to 10 actual like brush strokes in a kanji character. So it's the Super Saiyan of the alphabet. And yeah, I mean, I struggle a little bit with the basics here. I mean, I'm only in level 2, so like we're going pretty damn slow.
Sure.
But yeah, learning grammar, and I can't say that like I'm adept in it, having taken time off, taking more than 20 years away from my last time I was in Japanese class.
Yeah.
But
and not having a lot of occasion to actually ever put it to use. It's not like you can go to it's not like you're often going to Japanese restaurants and ordering in Japanese or anything like that. You're not often coming across people. It's not like Spanish or something where you come across people speaking Spanish all the time in the US.
Yeah, but hey, man, it's got to have a contingency plan. And if I get a little bit more conversational with another foreign language, that would help me in a country in which I have to flee, then great.
Yeah.
Not to say that those countries don't also appreciate or cater to English speakers, because Lord knows most countries do nowadays. Even when I went to Japan, and I couldn't speak a lick. I mean, the miracle of having a smartphone with Google Translate. Have you used like the lens feature on Google Translate? It's pretty amazing, where you can actually just kind of flip your camera open and point it at something in a foreign language, and it'll auto translate it for you.
Okay.
It's crazy. Like, I was at a play the other day. Well, this is kind of cool. Have you ever heard of Sleep No More?
No.
Sleep No More was kind of a long running theatrical experience. I won't even call it a play, but it took place at something called the McKittrick Hotel, which was a multi-floored abandoned hotel that they went in, renovated, and completely art directed to seem like a 1930s, I don't know, like somewhat hotel and then sanitarium. And then there's 30 to 40, I hesitate to even say actors, but 30 to 40 performers who are kind of rooted in interpretive dance backgrounds that are the characters of this experience. So imagine like Tony and Tina's wedding, but there's no dialogue, there's no cohesive story, and you are allowed to kind of choose your own adventure and follow along these actors' path and their track for 2 to 3 hours. At the end, it culminates with something that everybody's invited to come witness. The Sleep No More was very, very loosely based on Macbeth.
Okay.
Knock on wood. The new show is very loosely based on the story of Faust. And so even though it does take place kind of in the 20s and 30s again, a lot of the interactions you see with these performers are built around bargaining and trading things that shouldn't have a price on them for a value, for a money value. And again, you don't have to, you could go there and spend 2 hours in one room, sit down, and you have to put your phone away. But other than that, you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can't engage with them. You can't,
Yeah.
you know, wrestle them to the ground when you see somebody being killed. And you will see that. You will see people being killed and poisoned and betrayed. But yeah, a very cool experience. And I don't know. I think the ticket costs are a little prohibitive. I got lucky with a deal, but $160 for kind of a 2-3 hour experience. Yeah, it's a little high.
Yeah.
But yeah, I seeing some plays, learning Japanese, trying to get an exit strategy going.
Sure.
Do you have one yet? Do you know what country you're going to flee to?
I mean, I keep saying Svalbard. Jackie doesn't think I'm serious.
Yeah, I guess there's one way to prove her wrong, Josh.
Yep.
Sorry, Jax. Pack your shit. Pregnant pause.
So it was my mom's birthday yesterday. So
Jan?
Yep. Happy
Nice.
birthday, Janimal.
I wouldn't call her that. I'll just call her Mrs. Dugan or Jan, but
Yep.
happy birthday, Jan.
Go yeah,
Hawkeyes.
So we went up to St. Cloud on Saturday and then talked to her yesterday too. So but yeah, happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday today to friend of the show, Jake Nyberg.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That's today.
Yep. I saw that on Facebook because I had to go on there to pull stuff. I guess we have some follow-ups on Phase 4. Or probably be some that'll roll in after this. Because
we just dropped it.
Yeah, because we just dropped it, and I feel like there are going to be a lot more people that end up watching this and have stuff to say, but haven't gotten around to it yet. So, obviously, keep the feedback coming in. We'll fit it in.
Yeah, and also, it's out there. It's you can see Phase 4 pretty easily nowadays. Yep. So,
yep.
Oh my goodness, Josh is brandishing his physical media.
Yeah.
Of which I don't have too much more of, but.
This is the Vinegar Syndrome.
So Neil Davenport was A-Hubs?
Nigel Davenport.
He's A-Hubs?
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't get that reference, check the pod.
Yep. I had forgotten that we did that until I was editing it.
It's kind of an amazing cover.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. It's 3 discs. So it's got both Ultra HD and standard HD theatrical cuts So 4K and normal Blu-ray, and then it's also got the third disc is the original ending.
Oh,
But
okay.
on standard Blu-ray, they didn't upscale that to 4K, but it's the original intended ending that Paramount made Saul Bass cut. So now during the episode we joked about American Humane being on set.
You
and I
glitched out
reached
a little bit there, but I don't know if that was me or you.
I'll reset it.
Keep an eye on that.
Yep.
Okay, an American what?
So we joked about American Humane being on set.
Oh. Yeah.
And my contact I reached out to at American Humane guessed that their presence on set would have been unlikely at this point, given the release date. Though American Humane does date back to the 1870s. It wasn't as much a mandated thing until after Cannibal Holocaust and Days of Heaven, so like 1982, I believe. He says they're on set protecting insects all the time. I was also told that they, in fact, would not certify a film if insects were killed that were being implemented for on-camera use with a wrangler, which is how AH would generally be on set. Some circumstances are depending, but there have been... He's gotten write-ups from AH reps when insects were killed on set, not on camera.
Insects were knowingly killed on set because...
Right.
Kind of
I mean,
impossible.
like it's one of those things. Like I was sort of trying to parse that a little bit with him. Like, okay, so if a mosquito bites somebody,
right? I mean, if they blow up, if there's an explosion, like a controlled explosion anywhere, like chances are,
insects are probably going to die.
Yeah.
But if it were, especially if it were insects that were being used for on-camera purposes with a wrangler. They would have to be, making sure that insects weren't dying. So to get the, no animals were harmed in the making of this film. So on Blue Sky, while watching the movie, Mobius 13 sent a photo of a massive ant on his TV screen and said, "Damn it, Mighty Minx and Unkind Rewind. I'm not going to sleep well tonight, am I?"
It's amazing that. Yeah, I don't know if anybody had. I mean, I'd really love to know if there was anybody who had seen this movie prior to our Tease.
I definitely have. I came across some people who had seen it before.
Okay.
At Royals Review, some of the commenters had seen it. Then after watching and listening, Mobius 13 said, "Love the podcast with Mighty Minx. When you think about the time frame of this movie being just barely pre-Star Wars but post-2001, it felt like there was a real push for smart sci-fi, a la Phase 4, Omega Man, Solaris, even Dark Star, that were influenced by writers like Asimov, Matheson, Clark, and Dick. Y'all touched on how so many other movies that came after were influenced by this mini era of films, showing how Star Wars and Star Trek aren't the end-all, be-all for shaping modern science fiction."
I think also just like, modern in air quotes, but modern science fiction, and especially like of the 70s, of that, like the 70s or sci-fi was not spared like other genres to have optimistic endings. Yeah. Like we talk about the 70s kind of having that, dystopian, kind of anti-government, conspiratorial aspect to a lot of the films. But like, science fiction, I guess, in those references you just brought up, kind of go hand in hand with the other genres. And like Phase 4, like this isn't the hero's journey. This isn't the, something that you'd get in the 50s with like man beating back ants.
Yeah, this is not them.
No, it is not them.
Although I guess I haven't seen that. I assume that we win, though.
I think we do win.
Yeah. Not here, though.
No.
Spoiler alert. So also on also on Blue Sky, John Morris said after listening to the Q's and T's app that this reminds me of when I was a kid and up late and Night of the Lepus came on Channel 41. I can tell you nothing about the movie now except giant angry rabbits.
Oh yeah.
But I've never forgotten seeing it.
Yeah, I saw that late night too. A lot of like, model towns and things like that they ran regular sized rabbits through. I need to look up that one. That was a late night. I want to say that was a family movie night somehow, because my mom and dad probably still remember that. What was it? The Lepus?
Night of the Lepus or Lepus.
So scientific name for
Lepus.
rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
assume so.
Yeah, that's a wild one. I don't think it'll ever come up on this podcast, but I should take a night and get that one checked off.
Yeah. Speaking of things that may never come up on the podcast, Quisenberry Forever at Royals Review responded to my comment sharing this episode over there and said, "Hey, Dugan, if you're looking for future podcast ideas, you should check out the movie X-Ray, also called Hospital Massacre. It was a campy B-movie slasher flick from the 80s. It's very bad to the point of being entertaining. I watched it once in college. There used to be a Saturday night show on TNT called Billy Bob's Drive-In or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
What, Billy Bob Briggs or whatever?
Yep.
Joe Bob Briggs?
Yep.
Where they would show two B-movie horror flicks, and the host, who was a writer, critic, actor type, would discuss the history, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, X-Ray movie is featured in an upcoming video for his YouTube channel and Radiation in Pop Culture. I'd forgotten about it until he started working on the video. So, as I told him, unfortunately, X-Ray is going to have to show up on somebody's list. But maybe this will stoke that fire for somebody. Maybe someone will remember this movie and be able to put it on their list. So
Mighty Minx might have been like one of the last times where we've zeroed in on the completely obscure.
It'll happen again.
But it was like, I don't know if we're going to get more I mean, maybe who knows, right?
Yeah.
But like right now it's got to be holding court as the most obscure thing we've ever done on this show.
Certainly that we've ever done. I think there was more reason for us to know that movie than there was to say no, and we haven't done it, and we didn't do it off of somebody's list. But Turk 182 showed up on someone's list, and we were like, "What the fuck is that?"
There's been some arcane shit on lists that we haven't subjected our listeners to.
Phase 4 was too interesting to turn away from.
Yeah,
for both of us, I think.
For sure, it was, and I, hypothetical at this point, but like the odds of it coming back, very slim.
Oh, Phase 4? Yeah.
The odds of Phase 4 showing up on someone else's list that happened to be a guest on the show, yeah,
highly unlikely.
Highly.
Now, Jeremy, our guest on the Beastmaster episode, told me he was probably going to buy the Vinegar Syndrome release that I just showed off. My buddy Leo.
Shout out.
My buddy Leo mentioned on Facebook that the Olive Films Blu-ray release looked better, and I posit the box does look better than the new release with the black ants on the white background that I just showed everybody on YouTube. This has this is the only 4K Ultra HD transfer, which is per physical media reviewing sites. This is the best release that this has had, and it's also the only American release with the original ending. So
yeah, and to be fair, I haven't seen it, and I need to.
The American ending or the original ending.
The original one, yeah.
But it is, and I still haven't watched the original cut. I've been meaning to, but I was gone all day Saturday. So, anyway. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's all I got for follow-ups right now on that. So you know Chelsea from Portland, Sean?
Yeah, she's a card-carrying member of the Portland Literati, and Yeah, she's fantastic. I worked with her on Livewire. She was a writer. And then she went off to write a bunch of, best-selling crime thrillers. So I would see Chelsea when I lived in there. I see her every now and again. I know her family, and she used to host kind of these legendary Halloween parties. But yeah, she's good people. Very smart. Very. She's got a little bit of a. She's got a nice dark sense of humor, and it comes up on the pod.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're. I won't get ahead of it.
No, there's some good stuff.
The movie's.
Everybody knows this movie.
Everybody knows this movie. Everybody should know this movie. This is not a Phase 4. I don't know. People may like it. People may not. We'll see. The movie, that is. The episode, I think, is.
People may like this movie at the beginning of our episode.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if they will at the end.
It's possible they won't. But anyway, without any further ado, Chelsea Cain. Welcome, everybody, to another installment of the Unkind Rewind. This week, we are getting to know our next guest, best-selling author, Chelsea Cain. Hello, Chelsea.
Josh. Hello, Josh. It's really good to be here.
Great, thank you. We're very pleased to have you on board. You are based out of Portland, correct?
I am, yes.
And that would presumably be how you know Sean, my co-host here?
Oh, Sean and I go way back.
Okay.
Tell you stories. Like Sean and I, we've known each other, 20 years.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, right? 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah. I think our 20th will be next year.
Okay.
I don't know if that's silver.
I'm glad you're tracking that.
I don't know if that's silver or maybe China, but believe me, the gift I'm planning is going to be great for our 20.
I'm looking forward to it.
I feel like 20's pewter.
Yeah, it's probably going to be pewter. Yeah. I'm going to have to go big.
It's Goodwill pewter.
But Chelsea and I, yeah, we've crossed many paths. She is a certainly of the Portland literati, and everyone knows Chelsea. Chelsea should eventually get into politics in Portland. It would be kind of a wide open race for her if she were to throw her hat in the ring, which has not had great mayoral success of late.
I'll leave that hanging there.
No plans to enter politics. Way too many skeletons in my closet, several of which Sean knows about.
Right on.
I think
Did he help you bury them?
Right. Yeah. Right before we poured the concrete.
Yeah.
Chelsea and I have definitely talked about the pitfalls of a writer's Google search history and how problematic that could be once that's unearthed.
I host a podcast about SVU.
How many times I have had my Facebook page shut down or some social shut down because I made a quip about murdering.
Sure.
Which is saying I murder people for a living. I'm a thriller writer. I murder people for a living. So I would make that quip and they would take it quite seriously. Yeah. And the thing would get shut down. And then once it's shut down, it's a whole big movie to make it open up again. Yep.
Yeah, it's an ordeal. Yeah.
Chelsea, this might be a personal question and feel free not to answer this, but
I love it.
Do you know your body counts of people you've killed?
I used to keep track with the Heartsick books because I wanted to I had a spreadsheet. because I didn't
Mhm.
want to repeat the killing,
Yeah.
because Gretchen, the serial killer, doesn't like to repeat herself. So I had to keep track of all of that. And yeah, it's,
Do you know her number?
I have killed a couple hundred people in the
Wow.
Portland metropolitan area. Yeah, yeah.
Do you know Gretchen's number?
Gretchen's number is like 250.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Laying the
So
Green River Killer to waste.
that's right. That was exactly in that.
Yeah.
Right. That's feminism, Josh.
Oh, I was right there with you.
he's on board.
Yeah.
He's an ally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Women can be killers too.
Yeah. All right. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Chelsea?
Okay.
So the audience, since the audience may or may not be familiar with your work.
Okay. So like, yeah, we don't have to start like with my childhood. Yeah. So
No.
like, yeah. So like,
laying back on the couch.
I'm mostly known for my thrillers. So I have written 6 best-selling, like New York Times best-selling thrillers, and then one that was made into another thriller that was made into a TV show that was 12 episodes, and I've written like 6 other books, like published, written and published 6 other books, and also a bunch of comic books, several of which were nominated for Eisners, which is,
Nice.
As everyone knows, the Oscars of comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did know that it was it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
that's a big deal.
that's
It's a big
me.
deal.
That's me. So like, I grew up. My early childhood was spent on a hippie commune.
Outside of Iowa City.
Outside of Iowa. Oh, look who's Wikipedia'd me.
I did way more than Wikipedia you.
Yeah. So,
I saw your Barbara Perry Mason tweet.
Wow.
That one stuck out to me.
Right? Because it's a great observation.
The great observation, and it's funny that that's your type.
It is like it is. Like I watched so much fucking Perry Mason as a kid. And honestly, as a kid, I was much more of a Paul Drake guy,
Yeah.
because like he was set up to be your kind of playboy, like, and Perry Mason was set up to be this kind of like paternal figure who, at the time, it was like he was fat, which is ridiculous now when you watch those episodes.
Yeah.
Just like he's just broad shouldered, like he's, yeah, but like doing my rewatch, which I literally rewatched every episode of Perry Mason. I was just like, oh, this man, he's perfect. He is the perfect man. He's like, the performance is so great. He is so gentle. He has this incredibly wonderful morality, and kind masculinity, right? At a time when that was not always modeled. And like, it really, blew my mind. And of course, Dallas Street, like, who doesn't love her?
Did you like the new Perry Masons?
I did actually. I did. I was very, very sad when that was canceled. The pandemic screwed us out of a lot of TV. But yeah, I waited a bit to watch it because I was like, no, it's not Perry Mason. And then I'd heard so many great things, and finally I watched an episode, and then I watched them all right in a row. And yeah, it's great.
I think it was interesting to go to kind of origins, rather than rehash what the series was,
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so we have you here.
You do.
To talk about a movie that you grew up watching,
but I don't know the movie.
Enjoying. You don't know the movie yet. Yes.
A really powerful list. It was some pretty serious deliberations, and we went back and forth on this.
Can you unpack your deliberations, please, for me?
Well, I mean, first up, I think we both. I mean, we can talk about the movie that we both kind of zeroed in on early, right, Josh?
Yes.
Do you have? Do you have
We
that?
we have the bad habit of choosing the strangest movie from a list.
I would say
and
habit.
that.
I don't know if it's bad.
Yeah, we have. That's at least both Sean and my predilection is to choose the strangest movie from the list, which is
Our
why
thinking is like, there's no chance that High Road to fucking China is going to come up on someone else's list. Let's get Chelsea to basically go through and walk us through High Road to China. That was our original, but we're not doing
Beth Armstrong, Tom Selleck. It's a classic.
Uh-huh.
And have you guys had you seen every movie on my list that I sent you?
No, we hadn't seen that.
Right, you had not seen.
That was the only one I hadn't seen.
I know we hadn't. I maybe had another. Let me go. I gotta.
And it was almost irresistible because I'm fascinated by the movie Tom Selleck. I don't understand why he wasn't massive. Like he's done very, very few things on the silver screen that have come anywhere near his success as a TV actor.
Yeah.
It's true, although he will tell you, Sean, that he has always made his money back. Like none of his movies have lost money.
Which is a huge feather in your cap as an actor. And like, I would think all the more reason why he should have been greenlit. I know of course, of the famous, he read for Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
I thought he was offered Raiders.
Oh, wow. Even bigger. Why couldn't he have done it?
That's what I always heard is that he was offered Raiders and turned it down. And it's fascinating because you're right about his charisma, which in Magnum PI, like he's so charismatic. Like he's so great in that. He's so watchable, right? And there's something that doesn't quite transfer the way that it doesn't with some actors on the big screen. Yeah,
I can't think of, I have to kind of sit down and really like go through the Hollywood lexicon here and phone book and find an actor that immediately jumps to mind with as good a legs as Tom Selleck had. And he had no qualms about showing them. If you watch the first 20, 30 minutes of Three Men and a Baby, his shorts...
Which was his most successful film, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That thing
huge hit.
Crushed.
Huge hit.
But those shorts, like the hem of his shorts are above his penis.
Yeah.
That was normal in the 80s, sweetie.
It was, yeah.
It was normal, but the legs showing off were not. They were gorgeous legs.
Right,
and you see them a lot in Magnum.
He could run along the beach barefoot, like
it showed. It showed.
We assume that's how he trained.
That's how he trained for that movie.
Out there kayaking,
Yeah.
Swimming laps in the ocean.
I like him. I like him in Quigley Down Under, which was a kind of an underrated '90s movie. But as far as Tom Selleck, big time movie star. I saw the trailer.
I think Quigley Down Under was rated exactly the right amount.
It's probably due a rewatch, maybe on this podcast.
I'm sure that'll happen at some point. There's no way it doesn't.
But High Road to China certainly
underrated. I love that. Quickly Done Under, underrated.
I'll go to the grave. I'll say it's underrated.
That's the hill you want to die on.
Yeah, I'll die on that. That's fine. Laura San Giacomo yelling for dingoes to come and kill her.
We didn't go with that.
We didn't go with that.
And I know we had talked about the Lost Boys. We talked about I was kind of pushing a little bit for Flatliners because I thought that would be fun. We didn't go with either of those either. Not to go through the whole list, but
did you even land on a movie on my list, or did you?
Oh yeah. We landed on a movie on your list. We are going to be watching.
Yeah.
Oh God.
St. Elmo's Fire.
Oh yes.
I've seen this a lot, and I've seen this pretty recently, so I'm looking forward to this.
Okay.
So
you're a fan.
Not me. Not me. I've seen this once in high school. I remember one thing very, very clearly about it, and I have not revisited it in 25 plus years.
What is the one thing? Is it
Mayor Winningham's underwear.
Oh, wow. That's not where I thought it was.
All right, so memory.
No, Josh. You don't want to like stay on this for a minute. So.
Oh, they stayed on her.
Yeah. So they were kind of like granny panties.
What I remember is they were Spanx. But
they weren't Spanx because those didn't exist.
Yeah, those weren't.
So,
okay. Maybe they were granny panties, but I know that they're revealed. She's not expecting to show them off, of course. But I believe is it Rob Lowe? I can't remember. But she's
in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she is getting she's in the middle of foreplay with somebody, I think maybe Rob. And they come up. I remember it being a moment of levity in the scene, played for laughs. It's the clearest image I have from that movie. Plot, characters, resolution, story. I don't remember anything about
it. Sounds like this is, though, a very clear memory that perhaps he revisited again and again.
Well,
of it.
I always bring up underpants each and every podcast.
And Mayor Winningham, actually.
So, you got it tight.
I try to squeeze Mayor Winningham into each podcast, even if
Uh-huh.
she has nothing to do with the movie. But that's
I'm sure she appreciates that.
we don't kink shame here.
No.
Your kink.
We don't kink shame my kinks. Yes.
Yeah. Everybody else has their fair game, though.
On the table.
Okay, so Chelsea.
Yeah.
Memory can be a tricky thing. Having not rewatched St. Elmo's Fire in ages, can you briefly describe what you remember the basic plot of the film being? Just broad strokes, no more than like a minute or two.
All right. So I have not seen it since it played in the theaters. I was a fan of the so-called Brat Pack, right? Mm-hmm. Went to see it. It was interesting to me because it was all of these characters I knew as playing high school characters, right? Who are now playing young adults. So that felt a little bit scandalous, right? I believe that it takes place in Washington, D.C. Could be totally wrong. I know for a fact that Demi Moore has this amazing red shawl. Mm. And I remember that she had this neon sign in her apartment. I remember that she had this cocaine problem that becomes, that her friends have to address. Right, they've got this great Jeep they'll ride around, and the bar, St. Elmo's Fire, is the name of the bar where they all hang out. I had a huge crush on Andrew McCarthy. There are Rob Lowe girls and Andrew McCarthy girls, and they're probably also, we can probably make the same distinction with men, right? But it's where does your sexual attraction land? Your sure. Kind of template, and mine was very much Andrew McCarthy. Okay. So yeah, I remember and I was younger than they were. So what year did that come out?
It's shot in 85, right? And it either came out in 85 or 86.
I want to say it came out in 85, tail end 85, but
it's 85. It came out in 85.
Okay.
All right. So I was, 12, 13. Right. So much younger than these characters. And seeing them behave as adults, again, cocaine.
A very adult drug.
A very adult drug, but also very 80s. So not frankly, it was something that was in the kind of pop cultural zeitgeist, right? But I loved all of those actors so much. And and I remember feeling really weirded out by how they paired.
But this is essentially a young, good-looking adults in a city living by themselves, kind of working out life's problems kind of movie, right? Or
Are they working out life's problems? They're hooking up, they're doing drugs, they're hanging out at a bar. They're like 22, 23, whatever. And yeah, like 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 my memory is that some of their lives look really good and then go south. That's my memory, right? As a kid, is being like, oh, this is a cautionary tale because even though this person like seems like they have it together, they don't.
Drama.
So never grow up.
Yeah, it was a little scary. Again, much like when I watched The Pickup Artist, and was like, whoa, like I don't want to see Molly Ringwald in this situation. Yeah, like the sense that like they're all right, these characters, these actors that I really love, who up until that point, I think a couple of them have probably played like freshman college students, right?
Yeah.
But mostly they played teenagers, like in the roles that I loved. And then to see like being in these adult roles was illuminating. And I loved it. And despite the fact that Demi Moore is a total fuck up in the movie, I just wanted to be her. Like I spent years of my life looking for a red shawl that was that same color that she had. She was just so cool. So I might have missed the point.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
we'll find out.
The much of the thrust of this podcast is seeing how your childhood brain processed a movie and how your adult brain processes a movie.
Yeah.
So
there's no wrong answers here.
Yeah. And there's no judgment. It's the journey that's the fun. So you said you were 12 when you saw this and loved 13, this in the theater. Yeah. Okay, yeah, sure.
And I saw it like definitely once, possibly twice, not more than that, and only in the theater.
But it left an impression enough to have you searching for this shawl for years.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yep.
What do you think you were like at that age?
I was a big dork. I had just gotten a terrible haircut.
Okay.
Like a really terrible haircut.
A memorable one.
I had been at the mall and somebody pulled me to Supercuts and was like, would you be a hair model? And I was like, a model? What? Yes, I will be a model. And then they put me in a van and took me to Seattle, put me on a stage. And I was part of this hair cutting competition.
Oh, God.
And so they cut off, like I had really long hair. They cut it off. First, they gave me a permanent. And then they cut all my hair off. So I looked like Little Orphan Annie. Like it was just a super, super short curly haircut. And my hair person got second in the contest and won a trip to Las Vegas. And then I had to go back to fucking middle school.
So you got what, a free haircut? That was it?
Yeah. And a trip to Seattle. Yeah. Yep. It was such a bad haircut. So like it was a dark period, Josh. It was a dark period in my life.
It was a bad award-winning haircut.
Yeah. Right.
I like that I like that haircut competitions are like military juntas where they just throw people in vans.
Yeah. Did they put a bag over your head?
No, but they might as well have. Like it was just so quick. They were like, "Do you want to do that?" And I was a kid, right? And I was like, "Sure." And then they somehow got my mom to be like, "All right, if she wants to." And then literally a white panel van shows up at my house. And I get in and they whisk me off to Seattle and take off all of my hair.
So you're freshly shorn.
Yeah,
and now...
So feeling insecure, like, right? Also, like, it was a bad time for fashion generally at this point. I want you guys to remember this. It's like,
oh, I remember.
So like I had like a pink sweatshirt with like a aqua like paint brush stroke across the chest. I had this ridiculous kind of like white and green floral It was like a floral skirt with like suspenders, like the whole look. It was just bad, and it looked bad on me in particular. And so, yeah, to go into this fantasy world of these like really attractive people who, yeah, who are, yeah, like seem to be launching, right? They were launching
Mhm.
in a way
Yeah.
that was very aspirational, even if their launches were, fraught. They
These
were
were like apex young movie stars is who that
Yeah,
we're talking
yeah, yeah,
about.
yeah.
Like cream
Right,
of the
and
crop.
right, people I had relationships with because I had
Sure.
seen them in Pretty in Pink.
Andrew
Right?
McCarthy's a weird, yeah, he's able to do this like weird, two-step between the high school and the young adult thing, which, we know with television and movies, like sometimes those ages are pretty broad in terms of what we could play here. But yeah, he's a high school senior the same year, basically, that this movie comes out where he's the young adult. And then a couple years later, he's a young professional in Weekend at Bernie's,
Mhm.
trying to climb the corporate ladder.
Yeah,
What?
he had a really soft face,
Yeah.
in
And
a way that was like, I think appealing to especially teenage girls because it was not threatening.
soft voice too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he felt like, yeah, like very safe. Like
Yeah.
right, cute, but in this kind of like I don't like quite know how to put it, but like yeah, like a non-threatening way.
Mhm.
Right, where
He
we could sort of fantasize, in air quotes, like we could fantasize about him, but not feel threatened by him, right?
he could kind of show his nerves too. He had a vulnerability to him
Mhm.
where you could kind of see his character's flub a little bit. He
Yeah,
wasn't the coolest guy
Yeah.
skateboarding in, taking off the sunglasses, just trying
no,
to
for sure.
operate
Like
it.
he had something going on behind his eyes, unlike a couple of those other guys, and like Less Than Zero. Like I love his performance in Less Than
Mhm.
Zero.
Hmm. Pretty blue
Another
I
eyes
watch
too.
Class all the time.
really
I've seen
all
Class like 10, 15 times at least.
wow.
I've seen
Today?
it at least twice in the last year. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Which that's a weird movie.
That's why he's watching it so much.
Well, he's have you seen it, Sean?
Is that Jacqueline Bisset?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I've seen it.
Uh-huh. Very, very strange setup for a film. Okay, so there's the Andrew McCarthy of it all. There's the Red Scarf. There's the aspirational.
And Ali Sheedy, like all of those people,
Mhm.
like I really wanted to see.
So do you think it was just your relationship with a Brat Pack, or what do you think it was that appealed to you about St. Elmo's Fire then?
Okay, like again, not having thought about this in a very long time.
Yeah.
I think yeah, it was my relationship with the Brat Pack and in that sense of like leveling up, right? So here I am 13 and here are these characters who are actors who are now characters d- doing something that is, 8 years ahead of me. So it felt like like seeing that movie made me feel like I like more mature, and also that I was gaining an insight into what it might be like to be a young adult,
Sure.
which it turns out was nothing like that.
Right.
Speak for yourself.
Okay.
Now, are you going to see this movie with the fam? What's the normal like protocol for like a movie night out at the theater at 12:13 for you? Are you going
Well,
there with the friends? Are you going there? Is it like a custom? Take the family out, go see the movies? Like
this
how
movie in particular,
this movie in particular,
yeah,
yeah.
well, it's not playing at a theater, so I
Well,
will
how are you
see
seeing it at
it.
12:13? You're seeing it at a theater in Bellingham?
No.
Well, how are you seeing? What was your first experience with St.
Oh,
Elmo's Fire?
I see. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like when I do the rewatch. So
No,
yeah,
no, no.
I okay, like yeah, I would have seen it Probably at maybe the Seaham Cineplex in Bellingham, Washington. I would have seen it with another friend, probably my friend Molly. It would have been like a girlfriend, you know.
Okay, so the two of you are seeing this. There's not like an uncomfortable moment sitting there with mom.
No. My mother
okay.
would not have been interested in this movie
Okay.
whatsoever. Yeah.
Okay.
And like it's like it must have been R, right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, so like I don't even, like again, right?
How did you get into the theater?
Right, that's my question. But
Would you have snuck in?
No.
Okay.
No, I snuck into other movies, like horror movies or whatever, like just by doing that classic thing of seeing the movie before, like whatever was before it, and then just slipping into the theater. But yeah, not this one. Like
What's the statute of limitations, Josh, on ushers letting children into hard R movies?
Are you saying that I might be sued?
I'm saying that this usher, we're going to go after.
Could be found criminally liable, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's not the usher. I think it's the like person who takes your money and gives you that's the class action suit target. Right, somebody who was probably also 17. Right?
I'm imagining that you were on Molly's shoulders in a long trench coat, wobbling up to the box office and ordering in a deep voice, 2 adult tickets to St. Elmo's Fire, please. And then falling off Molly's shoulders.
That's not what happened at all.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I was really good at getting into movies that were like rated beyond my pay grade, for sure.
Is this theater still with us?
No.
R.I.P. What'd you say? Like the Clayhorn? Seahorn?
It was the Seaham Cineplex.
Oh, of course. How could I have fucked up the Seaham Cineplex?
Yeah, because it was before the Bellisphere Mall opened, so it would have been the Seaham Cineplex.
And then you said you saw it. Wait, you saw it one more time, maybe in the theaters?
I believe I believe I saw it twice, but again in the theaters. Okay. Which was normal, like when we were kids. Like you saw a movie a couple of times. Yeah.
But it was commonplace for you to like say buy a ticket to the PG movie and go to the R movie.
Well, like, you're recording this, right? And again, like the statute of limitations.
It's something that somebody could have done back then. Yes.
Yeah, I would say that, like, not me, but I would say that someone might have done that regularly.
Sure. Right. Okay.
Because again, someone might have been also like used to seeing several movies a day. So like you see the first movie, someone might, and then someone might then see another movie and not even.
So someone could have seen multiple movies for the price of one.
Someone could have
hypothetically. Okay, interesting.
Someone could have seen 3 movies in a day. Yeah, someone might have known which back door to open to get into a movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Someone seemed pretty resourceful.
Someone was.
Sean and I have no idea what it would be like to do that. Whatever.
We don't know what you're talking about. Sure. Chelsea's gonna get swatted now.
Oh my God! Don't even say that.
The door kicks in the back.
And it's
we got her.
It's a group of like angry ushers on Reddit.
Right.
We finally got her.
It's Regal Cinemas kicking in the door. We need our back, or we need restitution.
Yeah. US $23.
Yeah. And that's after inflation. Okay. So do you have any memories that stick out to you specifically about St. Elmo's Fire?
Beyond the red shawl.
The red shawl is like literally the most iconic thing about it in a kind of Schindler's List kind of way.
Well, it was all black and white and then the shawl, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like it really, you'll see when you watch it.
I knew he stole that from somewhere.
Dazzling. Yeah. And her whole character is like really interesting. And and I've read since that like she like went to rehab during the movie or right after the movie. Like, you know, she actually was suffering from addiction. So like, and maybe that is something I, you know, picked up on, you know, like it felt very real to me. And it was also really interesting to see Ali Sheedy as like because I, you know, right, seen her in right, The Breakfast Club, where she was, you know, this the weirdo, right? And I loved her character. But then to see her immediately afterwards as this like put together like attorney, I think she was, you know, like, you know, but a put together professional, it was like, oh, I remember that. And mostly I remember the friendship, you know, between these characters.
Sure.
And there was something about that. Like when we're in high school and middle school, like we had, you know, this group of friends that we hoped to hold on to forever.
Sure.
And yet somehow, even at the time, knew we couldn't, right? Knew that we were all going to kind of like go on to our own colleges and our own lives. But, you know, like we wanted to hold on to that. And so to like, to see, I guess, the sort of fantasy play out of this group of people who were friends in the way that we were friends, but with a lot more sex and cocaine. There was something like comforting about that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I was laughing about sex and cocaine not being part of your 12 and 13-year-old experience.
Yeah. No, I didn't think about that yet.
Yeah, no. It's funny though. It's funny.
Like that sweet innocence of just like, oh, look at this group of friends who all hang out, right, at the bar. Which is like, you know, we hung out at Denny's, you know?
Sure. It was Perkins for us.
Yeah, right, like, right. So to see that, you know, like was a notion that could continue, especially among this kind of like group of actors we had seen and other kind of groups of friends in different kind of like high school situations. It's like, oh, now they're young adults and they're still hanging out. And yeah, like she needs rehab, but boy, is her scarf red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That should be the tagline for the movie.
Yeah.
So what expectations do you have for your return to St. Elmo's Fire?
I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried that it's not going to live up to what it was when I watched it as a kid, which is frankly why I have not watched it since, right?
Sure.
Because it was, to me, like such a kind of like, I mean, the soundtrack, come on, you guys, like, right? It was pretty
I love
great.
I love the John Parr, right?
I don't know, like, but like I had
but St. Elmo's Fire, I love that song.
The title song, yeah, John Parr.
Yeah. And again, like I individually love those actors so much. I worry about revisiting it and yeah, maybe seeing them make choices that are kind of icky in today's environment, you know. Like again, some of these hookups, I think this whole underpants thing that Sean is into, like that, I feel like is I think that might bump for me.
I don't know why the assumption that I'm into it. It's just an evocative.
It's literally the thing that was your biggest impression from the movie.
I mean,
it's the only lasting thing it's shocking to me that the thing that doesn't jump out to you immediately is Rob Lowe on the sax. But we'll get to that next week.
Okay, yeah.
That seems like the iconic moment of this. Anyway.
So you're wait. So Josh, you're a Rob Lowe guy.
I've seen this so many times. I mean, I seriously saw this.
No. You're a Rob Lowe.
I like Rob Lowe, yeah. But
don't apologize for it.
No. I mean, I like Rob Lowe in the abstract, yeah. I think he did a good pivot. I think he did a good pivot somewhat recently to like in the last 20 years. He had a rough late 80s and 90s.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the whole Democratic convention thing. But here's the thing. You're either an Andrew McCarthy guy or you're a Rob Lowe guy. And you can appreciate both.
I
But
can't be
which
an
kind of
Emilio
guy are
Estevez
you?
guy?
Which guy are you?
Yeah.
Can I be an Emilio Estevez guy?
No. Nobody's an Emilio Estevez.
I love Repo Man. I love Men at Work.
No. No, you can't be. That's not an option.
Okay. If I had to choose one or the other.
Uh-huh. And can we unpack this a little bit? Are you choosing who you would want to be?
I think it'd be who I'd want to be. If it's who I want to be, it's Rob Lowe in a heartbeat. The dude hasn't aged in fucking 40 years.
Yeah.
He basically looks, having seen San Elmo's Fire in the last 5 months, he looks the same now that he does then. It's whatever deal with the devil he struck.
But who would you want to be with? Like, wouldn't you want to be with Andrew McCarthy?
Oh, I'd want to be with Andrew McCarthy, especially if we're talking about the characters in this movie. With me having seen this recently.
I'm excited.
If I had to choose one to be my life partner, it would be Andrew McCarthy from this.
Yeah, there we go. I agree.
Yeah, I don't remember any of this. So when you mentioned the sax, like something came up of like
Sax, not sex. I just want to make sure that people get that.
Yeah.
sax, hard A. I remember, is this necktie around head?
Yeah. Oh, big time.
Oh, this is coming back to me.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting a necktie around head. Maybe that can be my kink too. If we're gonna go there, if we're gonna go just to like
full kink.
Yeah.
It sounds like this movie really had an impact.
Yeah, I mean, primarily apparel focused, but yeah.
To be fair, the Rob Lowe sax with the necktie around the head is definitely something that you would have seen memed.
Okay.
You would have seen it clipped out on social media. It's a thing that pops up. So.
And did he play the sax or no?
Well, I mean, we're meant to believe he's playing the sax.
Right, but he didn't actually.
I presume he's not playing the sax, but I don't think he is. I think it's pretty clear that he's not. If you're
right,
but I don't remember the last time that I was paying attention for that.
We'll be watching.
I remember I remember that moment in the movie in the sense of like it was a sexy moment. We're like, like he's it's sort of like the Tao of Steve, right?
Sure.
You guys saw that where where it's like do something excellent. And that was
he's doing something excellent.
He was doing something excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicks dig that.
Big time. I mean, if we're meant to believe the movie, they do. They really, really do.
All right, let's keep an eye on the fingering here for that saxophone, just to make sure that he is hitting.
Again, saxophone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And fingering of the saxophone.
Yeah. Not. Yeah.
That's hard. Yeah.
And yet,
end of sentence.
I think it's supposed to be sexual, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is some pretty prime Rob Lowe. I mean, yes, he hasn't aged. He is a fine wine. He's he's probably been a sexiest man of the year, I'd imagine.
I would assume so.
I think that he's got that. I mean, he's not been nominated for an Eisner, but
I know, what a fucking loser.
Excuse me. He has a sexiest man of the year trophy on his mantle. But this is like,
you don't get a trophy for that, sweetie.
You get a laminated magazine cover.
Yeah. Exactly.
But this is pretty much like as prime Rob Lowe as we're gonna get. Like, this is sweaty and sexy Rob Lowe.
Sean, you'll be disappointed to know that on IMDb's list of good-looking guys that haven't been named People Magazine Sexiest Man Alive, Rob Lowe's number 2 on the list after Leo.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think you need to start a petition.
Wow. I'm shocked.
I mean, this is a person made the list, and it's 4 years ago, but he hasn't won in the last 4 years.
Has Andrew McCarthy ever made the list?
I mean, there's no way Andrew McCarthy has ever won. I don't know if they keep track of nominations.
Just because he's a soft chin.
I mean, I would guess that Rob Lowe's made the list, but he's not been named Sexiest Man Alive. I would assume that during the West Wing years, probably in 99, 2000, he probably made the list. but was not named Sexiest Man Alive.
Wow. I'm shocked.
He just doesn't have an agent that's good enough to get him the award, because that's all it is.
This completely changes how I feel about him.
Yeah, Sean is walking out.
Yeah.
I don't know if let's go back to High Road to China.
I'm pretty sure Tom Selleck's one.
Tom Selleck, definitely Sexiest Man. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sure of it.
Yeah, he's got that. He might even be a repeater. Legs alone. I mean, the mustache is one thing. I mean,
okay, the leg thing you need to let go of, because it's getting a little weird now. It feels like a kink.
I'm going to send you so many screenshots.
I don't want them. I don't want them. I don't accept them. I give no consent.
Okay, Josh, you're going to get them.
There was a poll in 1986 by UPI, or it's on UPI.com at least, that he was voted sexiest man in the nation by more than 2-to-1 ratio among those polled. Tom Selleck was. He won every demographic subgroup except for African Americans, who chose Billy D. Williams.
Fair.
Wow.
That's fair. Frankly.
Yeah, I get it.
86.
I get both.
Yeah.
That was the height of his Magnum fame. 86.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing a lot of pictures here with his chest bare.
No, total beefcake, totally sexually objectified.
Yeah. He was a specimen for sure.
He's still alive.
Yeah, I haven't seen him late. I know that the mustache is still
It
pretty
comes
strong.
and goes.
Yeah.
He's apparently never sent a text either.
Because you know that because you keep texting him and he's not responding.
No, I'm just scrolling down the Google results on Tom Selleck's Sexiest Man Alive, and it's like a down at the bottom of the first page. He reveals he's never sent a text.
Because he's 80 fucking years old, right?
I know.
This is how Josh found your Perry Mason thing.
That's so weird. That was a post from so long ago.
I was scrolling back through your Twitter.
Yeah.
But Barbara jumps off the page to me.
Oh my God, I have such a crush on that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's so good. And I really believe he is doing a Perry Mason thing. It seems
only as a prosecutor instead of a defense attorney.
Yeah. But
can't escape the propaganda.
His eyes, the way that he holds his head and lifts his eyes up. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love him. I love him so much.
Yeah, he's great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we should probably let the listeners go and watch St. Elmo's Fire before.
Yeah, we have a movie to watch
next week.
Right?
I've seen this recently.
I have not.
I'm looking forward to discussing this.
Yeah, it's been 30 years since I've seen it. So I might take everything back that I said.
It's possible.
Yeah,
it's possible.
But I know there's a red shawl. I believe in my heart there's a red shawl. I know there's cocaine. I know that there is a cool neon sign in Demi Moore's apartment. Because I was I want that apartment. When I am 7 years from now, I will have a neon sign in my apartment. Yeah, and a dime bag of cocaine or whatever.
Yeah.
And and I remember that there was a lot of unique coupling that made me nervous.
Yeah. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays to your recollection of the film and your hope of still, I think, finding. I mean, it'll still be nostalgic, even if you don't like it. You'll still be struck by things, I'm sure.
I think, Josh, the fact that you apparently have watched it many times makes me think there's something to it.
We'll see. We'll see.
Very.
Because you're such a big Rob Lowe fan, right?
I like Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
I like Andrew McCarthy. I mean, I watch Class a lot too. There's clearly something to the Lowe McCarthy pairing that works for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We'll unpack that because I want to know more about what the magic was between those two.
I really like the James Spader McCarthy pairing is where I'm at. That in Less Than Zero and Pretty in Pink is
Adam and I have a whole my SVU podcast co-host. We have a whole thing about we had a theory that we unpacked about Rob Lowe and about James Spader and Andrew McCarthy engaging in a early aughts kink off to see who could go darkest and kinkiest in their roles. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, like James Spader has said that he played both of those parts. Like as like a character who is in love with this guy.
Yeah.
Like both of those parts. And I think that like creates this like sexual tension, you know, that is like, you know, like really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sexy.
I just watched The New Kids with James Spader as a bad guy last night. So. Yeah. Of this era. So. No, I get all of this. Anyway, we should let everybody go. Thank you for joining us, Chelsea.
Thanks, Chelsea. This is exciting.
Delighted. So when are we doing this again? Like, how long do I have to watch this movie?
Well, we'll check your schedule.
We can do it. Yeah.
Within a maybe before you go or after you come back.
We can do it right after you get back, probably.
All right.
Just so we're not rushing you into watching it because you're back you're leaving midweek next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to rush you. I don't want to rush you into it.
So. No, we want to take our time on this one.
Yeah.
I kind of feel the opposite. I feel really excited and want to watch the movie again.
Okay. I mean, here, let's let everybody go. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. You've just listened to another installment of the Unkind Rewind podcast, mining and potentially ruining your childhood for content, one film at a time. Unkind Rewind is a Munchcast production and can be ingested wherever you listen to podcasts and on the Unkind Rewind YouTube channel. Music for this and every other episode of Unkind Rewind was composed by Divorcio Suave. Rate, review, like, and subscribe to Unkind Rewind on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and Good Pods. Links to all our social media accounts are in our show notes, but you'll find us as @UnkindRewindPod on nearly every social media platform, all of which are available at our website, unkindrewind.com. If you have a question, concern, complaint, or feedback, you can email the podcast at unkindrewindpod@gmail.com or call into our call-in line, area code 507-479-6440, and leave a message that can be played on air. Fans should join the Munchcast Discord to discuss this or any other episode of the Unkind Rewind with like-minded people. This dialogue may just make it into a future episode of the pod. The Unkind Rewind Patreon will be coming soon, so start squirreling that pocket change away. Thank you for listening to another Unkind Rewind.